I get to do Facebook for everyone, which is fun. It's a bit of a how-to. So again, if you're not quite au fait with Facebook in terms of the digital media buying component in the back end, I play with this a little bit in my own business outside of tourism, which keeps me kind of grounded to a certain degree. And then when we do it from a tourism mentee point of view, we're lucky enough to sort of push money across to our advertising agency who helps us with these things. But the first place to really start and the how-to I want to give you is to go to Facebook, the Facebook business page, and actually like that page on Facebook, because it's sort of like, I suppose, a tourism tribe of Facebook business likers, and it gives you all the latest news about what Facebook's doing for businesses. And then they've got their own Facebook page or Facebook web page like this, where you can sort of scroll down and see different things that they can do for you, success stories, as well as the latest news. So as an example, I'm really interested in stuff like this, where we're looking for ways to make things easier for multiple operators. And this one here is about the new Canvas. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It's a new Canvas, Facebook Canvas, which is an ad type that they've just created, which allows you to create almost like a little mini website inside of the actual Facebook platform itself. So when you have a look at what actually happens here, you have a click on an ad that might come up through your scroll. You click on it, and it gives you the chance to put full bleed video in like this. And you almost treats it like modules, so you can upload your video, put some text over it, and have different modules that are then scrollable like they're doing here. And so for the Voyages of the Seas, whatever this is, it's a pretty cool way to show off all their awesome attractions inside the ship, or on the ship. You know, a little first person sliding down the actual slide there. So again, if you've got video of you and your customers interacting in a certain way, which can then be utilised in a canvas, Facebook Canvas, this page gives you a bit more information about how well it's going and what other people are doing with it, and other ways to find examples. But basically now on Facebook, there's quite a lot of ways to promote your ad apart from just a post with a picture. So again, that's going through the news section of there. You can find even more and more stuff out around their stuff. But what you can do quite quickly from here, look, I'm pretty inspired, pretty excited. I'm going to go in and create an advert. So again, it just loads up from your Facebook business page, and I've got to log in and do this again. So once you've logged in, it comes to your Facebook Ads Manager, and it depends on how many ads you're running individually through the platform specifically. You might just go straight to your ad management area rather than the new ad area. But for people who don't really know the system, I just want to really highlight a couple of points that I want to make around Facebook, in that the back end now, they've changed it so much where it's just so kind of easy, I suppose, to choose what you want to try and do. They're not like just throwing you in the deep end. You can make a choice to reach people near your business, or send people to your website, or to do different types of things. Now, one point I want to make is that this reach people near your business will have a new set of a piece of functionality that's going to come out, I think, in Australia very soon, as in like the next month, which will allow you to run an ad, and then that ad will then be linked to mobile phones that have seen that ad that come into your shop or to your business. So you'll be able to see the direct correlation between the ad that's being displayed and who turned up inside your business. So for the first time really ever, we'll be able to see an online to offline kind of conversion when it's doesn't have a transaction involved. Whereas in the past, we had to transact online to know if it was a conversion or not. So we're asking Facebook at a tourism mentee level, how can we have all of our millions of dollars of ads that are in Facebook, how can we see if people have turned up to the NT and call the NT our shop somehow, or use your businesses as places where we can kind of track to see if people have turned up. It'd be great to come to one of these forums and say, we had 1 million impressions and 10,000 people turned up. We can work out if that's a good ROI or not from there. So Facebook's back end, and if you're not using Facebook as an advertising platform, highly recommend it, because they're going into some pretty cool spaces using location-based servicing. So so that rich people near your business is a good example of that. You can, every time you click into one of these things, it actually takes you down a slightly different pathway for how you use the back end of the platform to do an objective, set an audience, get placement, make a budget and a schedule, and choose your ad format. I'm going to do one a little bit different. I'm going to choose to send people to your website. And once you've sort of done that, you can kind of progress. Let's just get that going. And what we're talking about here is using kind of the more targeting features that Facebook now offers, where in the past you kind of just ran ads at sort of broad generic audiences of 18 to 24-year-olds that lived in a certain state, whereas we can get down now to the 1 mile radius, which gives us a lot of context, and even down to a certain time and a radius and an age group. So I'll show you an example of that really quickly. So first of all, what you can do is you can use custom audiences. The way you can do it, I suppose, again, what you should be doing when you're looking at using this type of system is just click everything. You really can't spend any money on Facebook until you've posted the ad. It will not let you spend money. You can just play around, click on stuff, see if you can break it. You really can't. They're really good at making you aware of everything that you can and can't do before you do it. So you don't even need a mentor to help you here. You can just keep on clicking until something either goes right or wrong. Over here on the right-hand side, you can kind of see audience definition, and starts to say when people are actually going to see your ad. And the more things that we do, the more it changes. So over here, I think I've potentially got a custom audience. So custom audience, reach people who have already interacted with your business, or find a lookalike audience. So over in the when you're setting up these audiences, you can actually do some really funky stuff using your existing database to actually upload it and then find lookalikes. I think we mentioned that earlier. So again, think about this system being able to add data that you've got from other places, like your EDM or your contact list, and then upload it into Facebook and use it to try and find people just like the people who have already visited your business. But for the moment, we're just going to go for location. Everyone in this location, people who live in this location. How about people travelling this location? Let's look for actual tourists. That might make some sense. I'm currently in Australia, so it's still pretty broad. 320,000 people will see my ads. We can pull back to Alice Springs, but one thing you can actually do here as well, I think you can go, was it 92 or 32 Barrett Drive? Oh, might need to put Alice Springs in. Might help me. Was it 93, was it? Close enough. So what is happening here is it's showing me Alice Springs, and it's showing me a fairly decent radius of people around. And what I want to do here is change that mileage from 10 miles to 1 mile. So I want to get down to 1 mile. So I'm now looking at a 1 mile radius that my ads will get to. And I'm now looking at how many people are going to see my ad, 1,400 people. So I've gone from wasting my ad on the whole of Australia down to 1,400 people, which you'd expect. But the reason why this is kind of important is that I can now choose to keep it in that spot. I can also put more locations or put different locations in. So contextually, if I want to hit people here at the casino, or put my ads so they definitely show up where caravan parks are, I know people actually have cars and can drive and will travel. Or if I want to put stuff out at the desert park, where I know at around about 3 o'clock there's a heap of people on Facebook posting things live from the bird show. I can start to think about contextual opportunities, and if it's going to be a family thing out there, I can start to throw a family ad into that space and make sure I'm talking about something. So if it's a 3 o'clock ad that's running on Facebook out at the desert park, what are the things that they need to do on the way back to town that I want to talk to them about? Or for Glen Helen, if you come all this way, why don't you go a bit further? Or hey, we've still got things to do. There's a great event on happening at Araluen between now and 6 o'clock. There's all different ways you can think about the context that customer's in while they're scrolling through their Facebook feed to show them the right thing. Some examples are, if you're running a cinema, for example, or you've got some kind of a nighttime event, pick people up at spots where they're having dinner. For some reason, people like to use Facebook over dinner rather than talk to the people they're with. So, let's kind of hit them there with an ad saying, hey, if you're here right now, don't forget, you can get directions to this place, turn up for a 7 o'clock event, we've got something on for you. So there's all different ways you can contextually hit people. Again, if it's looking at backpackers, put ads on YHA, put ads on all the different spots that backpackers hang out on the East Coast. We certainly do that with our ads to try and show off our airfares that are cheap when they come in. So there's all different ways you can contextually think about someone's, where they are, what they're doing, and what kind of person they are. And Facebook allows you to target down to men, aged whatever. In this spot, get rid of all my wastage, and then actually show ads to them. Now in this case here, it's getting so defined that the reach is so low, you might think, why is it worth it? But it doesn't cost you any more to run the ad. It doesn't cost you per ad. There's no loading fee for the ad. Just run it. It just runs. So it's up to you how many ads you want to have. If it was my business, I would have probably 10 or 15 different types of ads for local area marketing rather than just one. So you think about brochures, how many brochures do you have for your local area? One typically, and one size as well, which is even more interesting. So, how do we kind of do it differently with a digital sense? You would do it so it's contextually at the right spot. In bigger spaces, like from Uluru to Alice or Alice to Tenet, I'd definitely try and make sure you understand where people are flowing to and from, and therefore you can provide different ads for them which actually interrupt them and show them how to create a trail in a different way. What's cool about this little system, again, as you can go through and you can get pretty crazy with your targeting. You can include certain demographics or behaviours, so different demographics there, education or certain interest types, all different types of things that they might be going sort of interested in. Say that off, and when you want to place that, you can choose to put a budget against it, either a daily budget which just runs, or you can kind of do some pretty cool stuff where you go. Yeah, so the country question. Can we? I suppose the answer I think would be yes. I'll just check to see if we can do that. So you can obviously target ads to any country you want to target it to, but language-wise, I just don't know how that actually works, like how it actually knows that that's a Taiwanese person. So, for example, if the Taiwanese person has their phone set up in a way that's not indicating a Taiwanese phone, you may not be getting a true indication of your Taiwanese, but give it a go. I mean, it doesn't cost you to have a crack at it and see what kind of result you get. Just trying to be really specific about them.
Would it work by their Facebook profile and scan the details in there? So if they said they were from Taiwan?
I don't know that answer to that. But we've got people who are travelling, not who have just been here. I know we did some work up in Darwin with some people who were looking at trying to ambush Casuarina Square up there, which is a big shopping centre, to try and drag people into the city, and at certain times showing off different things. So again, it's just about how you kind of use the system to be relevant to people at the right time. And I've chosen to do a lifetime budget here. And again, you can then put those posts in here. You can choose to have link clicks if you want to make sure you're not paying for things, or impressions, so you're paying for just people to see it, so you don't pay until they click it on this sort of level. It depends what you're really after, what kind of business you are. Running ads all the time, no thanks. I want to run them on a certain schedule, so I'll run them between 6 to 9 on a Thursday night for the casino here, because that's what I'm trying to target, because I know people are here having a beer. So for tomorrow morning, I want to show them the new thing I've got open tomorrow, or whatever it might be from a tourist point of view. We know that Alice Springs typically doesn't like to go outside of the hotel rooms past sort of 8 o'clock at night, so they might be on Facebook a bit more rather than being entertained by tourism product. So again, you can find people late at night in these sort of spots to talk about what's happening tomorrow and be really relevant, or this week at least. So the whole point of this little how-to is about saying, look, the system is kind of unbreakable. It doesn't really cost you to have a play around and work out who your audience is going to be. You've got photos. Once you go through the next level, you think about creating something kind of cool, that's fun, and you think it will work. It gives you the option to kind of start choosing your format. So the carousel format allows you to kind of make an itinerary. So 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, with multiple other operators. You're going to try and join forces, share the money. That's where I think the RTO can really come into play here from a digital perspective, rather than brochures. How can we get an RTO kind of multi-dynamic media kind of campaign running? Videos and slideshows, and you can do Facebook Canvas as well, as I just said, as another option. So, you can try different images, try different things. If you go even deep into this format, you can go what they call A/B testing to see if one works better than the other, and it sort of rates them. All different kind of things, but the whole point here is that there's no skin off your nose typically to have a bit of a crack for 10 or 15 or even $30, get a bit of a feel for the system, and start to do things in a more targeted, relevant way, rather than just setting for getting ads and hoping they're going to work, which is really the whole point of the how-to. Any questions at all on this one? I'm not sure if I would have taught you anything new, to be honest. There's a fairly few decent Facebook users in this room, I know that much. Was there any kind of new thinking there that you thought, from a context point of view, that you're not doing or would think about doing differently now? You sort of go, all right, I can have an ad that's specific to that one location. Kathy, you're a pretty mean Facebook user. What do you think from the advertising point of view that's out there that you haven't seen or are seeing?
So I haven't done a lot of advertising on Facebook. The biggest Facebook advertising we did when we first started was just to get some likes, and so get some interest growing in our page, and that really helps. So, but we're now doing just another advertising on Facebook in the next month, to just once again build a bit more, open our doors a bit. But it keeps changing. What I did, a couple of months ago, like everything in the digital world, this has changed again. There's so many more options than we could have. But at the moment, one of our biggest target markets is the French market, and that's why we're going to use and actually do an advertise advertisement directly to the French market, and that's when you ask the question, can you do country? Yeah, you can, because I've set mine down to females this age, this type, this time, and it's really detailed.
Yeah, and then what obviously you can do is choose to get them in market before they've left, or you can get them while they're in Australia with a French kind of approach. So hit the Sydney market, looking for French people who are travelling, who have an interest in whatever it might be to make it work. So there's all different ways you can do it.
I can just back at them, and the biggest way, and what we've learnt over the last couple of months with Facebook, is don't be afraid to click through everything. Just click through it all and try and, work ins and outs and click this and click that. Because as Adam said, it doesn't, until you actually hit post, you can chop and change as much as you like. And the last 48 hours, that's what we've been doing. So I'm still learning this new updates. But yeah, definitely click on everything, go through the tutorials, learn before you post, and make sure you're spending your money right. But I always put a daily budget on mine. I don't do a lifetime. I do daily budgets and really limit them.
But it's all very well and good doing Facebook advertising, but I think that one of the things that keeps changing with Facebook is the algorithms, which means that page engagement just drops. So if you're not regularly updating your page anyway, you're just not reaching an audience.
Yeah, and that's what they want you to do.
Don't post for 2 weeks and it will go back to zeros.
That's right. That's why they love you to pay for your ads, because they've changed the algorithm, so it's so hard to get your post featured. Same with Instagram, obviously, with their new algorithm, but you can book your Instagram ads from there as well. Some people like to use different platforms which do it all. And there's even more crazier ways that you'll be able to do things into the future. I suppose the more you get used to these types of kind of platforms, the more you're going to find yourself buying even TV ads this way as well. So they're saying TV, what they call programmatic TV, is only around about 2 to 3 years away, where you'll be able to choose to get to customers on TV, and it's not the same way we watch it now. It's more like on screen, but the screen in the home, like the big screen in the home, will be kind of bought like this into the future. So it's exciting, and I suppose from my opinion, this is why Digital Leap's so important right now, is to say, how do we kind of get ourselves around the knowledge, which I think everyone talked about, how we get ourselves around these platforms and start to kind of work into it, because we should be leaders in this space, being the territory, because we are leaders in tourism. We bat above our weight, I think, generally. So I hope we can do it with digital as well.
Well, I think the sad thing is that the way that Facebook's going is what it originally started out as, which is, being able to connect with your friends and everyone. It's been taken over because my feed's just constantly full of stuff I don't even want to know about these days. Paid adverts, and so I'm not actually getting updates from my nearly 400 friends. I don't see a lot of those anymore. And so you'll end up that you'll create a group for just your friends. Your main feed will end up being all paid advertising from companies, and then you'll end up creating a private group so that you can just keep updated with your friends. It's just, it's really crazy. It's quite sad how it's going.
Well, I'll tell Mark for you, don't worry.
Instagram, like you say, Instagram's going the same way.
So yeah, you're constantly getting stalked on Facebook and everywhere else, and if your television's going that way as well, man, you can't even watch your television in peace without someone knowing what you're doing.
I know. Well, anyway, I appreciate everyone's time today, and let's hope we can not bombard people too much and just help them, I suppose. Thanks very much, everyone, and hope you enjoyed the day. Well done.